Hi everyone, let's talk makeup, and today I'd like to talk to you about a fairly new foundation from Reveiw, and that is the Influencer. I don't know if you've seen this, but when I saw it on social media at first, I thought, no, 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 I'm not buying a foundation called the Influencer. It's a terrible name, but I picked it up anyway. I'm a foundation junkie, guys. I love trying all kinds of different foundations and seeing if I can make them work for me. So I picked this one up and I've been testing it for a while now. I've used a bunch of other foundations before I got to this one. If you'd like to see some of the foundations, some of the other foundations that I've been trying, those reviews are up on my channel. So let's start with a demo of this, and then I'll come back and talk to you about my thoughts on it. Okay, so I do have a primer on. I have the Mally Perfect Prep Primer. It's a silicone based primer that I am trying to get through, and I find that one is good for like filling in pores and that kind of thing. But I'm going to go in with this foundation. It does have a pump, so I really like this kind of packaging. And what I normally do is I pump 2 pumps into my hand, and then I dot it on my face. Now I want to show you 2 different application methods that I've been using with it. So the first one is with a brush, and then I'll show you how it applies with a beauty blender because I think there is a little bit of a difference. So this half of the face I'm going to do with a brush. So this is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. So I'm going to use that to blend this foundation out on this half of the face. That was my stomach growling. I don't know why it growls. I just fed it. But hopefully you can see that it blends very, very nicely. Super easy to blend. You can probably tell when I pumped it that it's a very watery foundation. It's very much water based. In fact, one of the very first ingredient on here is water. So that is what it looks like on this half of the face applied with a brush. So it is not a matte finish. It's a demi matte finish, and in fact I would even say like borderline a little glowy. So yeah, but it blends super nicely on this. Not a whole lot of product stays on the brush, so most of it is on my face. But now I want to show you applying it on the other side with a beauty blender. And before I blend it out on this side, I want to point out that it's also not full coverage, that it is covering up some of my discoloration, but it's not covering up all of my acne scarring and all my hyperpigmentation. So something to note real quick. All right, so this I find is another really good method of applying this foundation is with the beauty blender, and it gives me a really natural kind of finish. I feel like it's even more natural than applying it with a with a brush. So there we go. So there we go. That's a nice layer of the foundation. Now I am going to apply a little bit more on my cheeks, which is one of my main problem areas here. So I am just blending that out here, and voila. So that is the foundation applied all over the face. Again, similar things with the finish. It's very natural kind of finish, not matte at all. It's not full coverage, but there is some coverage of this foundation, and super easy to apply, whether it's with a brush or with a beauty blender. So let me do the rest of my face, and I'll come back and give you my full thoughts on this foundation. Okay guys, I am back to give you the full review on this foundation. So first off, I finished up my face, and I do have cream contour, I have powder contour, I have blush, and I have concealer, but I didn't apply any additional kind of like face powder on top, so that the finish you're seeing with the foundation is still the natural foundation finish. So let's talk about it. So this foundation makes some pretty interesting claims here. It does say that it's cyclopentacid siloxane free. I don't know what that is, but I'm glad it's not in here. It's synthetic fragrance free, which is something I noted because I do suffer from eczema, and I've never had eczema on my face, but I know there are people that do. And if you are sensitive to fragrance, I think this would be a good option here. It's also talc free, gluten free, paraben free, and cruelty free. So as you might or might not know, I am cruelty free, so those are all things that are pluses for me. Some of those might not be here or there for you, but just FYI. It also makes some claims. There's like a whole paragraph of information in the back of both the box and the actual squeezy tube. There are some really good kind of skincare ingredients in here. Some of the oils and herbs and all these extracts and things like that are very good for the skin. So let's take some of these claims one by one and see how we feel about them. So natural looking, yes. I feel like this is one of the most natural looking foundations that I own. And it's a very pretty product when applied on the skin. So I think that is definitely a check mark and a plus for this foundation, longwear. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky because longwear can mean different things to different people. For some people, when a foundation wears for 8 hours, that's enough. That's all they need it for, and that, you know, people can automatically call it longwear. For me, 8 hours is not enough. Some days when I'm working, I have 12, 14-hour days, maybe more, from the time in which I apply the foundation to the time when I am taking it off. So for me, 8 hours, for example, would not be enough. For me, long wearing is a 14 plus hour foundation. This foundation can last all day. Especially if you're not like touching, rubbing your face, or, you know, otherwise messing with the foundation, then it will last quite a while. I do find that it'll last 8 hours, no problem. I do find that my oils peek through a little bit, not in a gross way, not in a way that messes with the foundation, like it never breaks down the foundation. It's just that around like hour 5, a few oils peek through, and then the foundation kind of like forces the oils to keep calm. And I really appreciate that about this foundation. So at no point does my face get oily, greasy. It doesn't feel gross, nothing like that. It's just that I am very sensitive to any kind of oil peeking through, and I believe that around the hour 5, I'm noticing the oils fighting with the foundation. Ultimately, the foundation wins though, so that's a huge plus. So lightweight feel, yes, lightweight feel. Satin matte finish, absolutely. I think that would be an accurate description of it. Medium to full coverage, no. I think this is more of a light to medium coverage foundation. But again, I want to point out a few things that are specific to me. One, I have a lot of acne scarring. I have a lot of hyperpigmentation on my face and my cheeks. And so for me, a full coverage foundation has to cover all that up. If it's not covering it up, then to me, it's not full coverage. If you have really good skin though, if you don't have any acne scarring, no pimples to cover up, no discoloration, then it will probably feel more like a full coverage foundation for you. So for those of us though with a lot more problem areas, I would not call this a full coverage foundation at all. You can build it up a little, but not a ton. Like, I don't feel like it builds up a ton. It definitely doesn't build up to full coverage. So that's something to note as well. In addition, I have very oily skin. This is also why I like to do foundation reviews, because I was finding that a lot of people, or a lot of the reviews I was watching, were not from people that had very oily skin. Like, a lot of people do have oily skin, especially on their T-zone. But I have oilier skin than that. Like, my skin on my face is oily everywhere. There are only 2 areas where my skin is dry. That's on my under eye and my lips. Everything else is very oily. So I need something for me that isn't just going to mildly like control the oils in my T-zone. I need something that's going to be really, really strong. Now I do think that this one passes that test. I think it is very good at kind of making sure that your foundation and your face makeup looks the same throughout the day and that it looks good. Like I said, I did notice some oils peeking through, fighting the foundation around hour 5, but that is a super simple solution for me. What I do is use any kind of setting powder on top. It doesn't have to be a specifically mattifying or an oil controlling setting powder for it to work with this foundation. It just needs a light dusting of any kind of powder, and then it will stay on all day. And then I don't, if I apply powder, I don't sense any kind of fight between the oils and the foundation on my face. Now, that is something that is super common for me, that the oils, that I have to set my foundation. I've used a few different things with this one. Everything has worked. Basically, just have something. If you have very oily skin, then you probably already have some sort of powder foundation or setting powder that you like, that you use that, and it's perfect. With that, then the foundation will last 14 plus hours. Now, if you're going to be touching your face, that's not gonna happen. Don't expect those results, but otherwise I think this is really good. And in fact, I have really been loving this foundation. It's a little bit on kind of the pricier side. It's not super high end. I actually expected it to cost a little more than it does, but it ain't cheap either. But I really like it, and in fact I love it for an everyday foundation, and it just, even for special events, I love it. Oh man, I'm going to be traveling soon, and I had already planned on taking a different foundation. But now I'm thinking about taking this one. Like, that is how much I like it. The color match, by the way, I didn't talk about the color match, is very good on me. In large part because this foundation blends into your skin so well. The color that I am wearing mine in is 210. So for reference, I am an NC42 in MAC foundations. So if you're like this kind of more tan color that I am, I think this would be a really good match for you. I am kind of a slightly warm leaning skin tone. I can usually get away with any kind of neutral or warm tone foundation as long as it's not like too warm tone, too orangey. And this one's not. It definitely does not go into the too warm side. It is just perfect, and I cannot sing its praises enough. If you are looking for a foundation that looks very natural, that can last all day, then I do recommend this. Now, a few things on here. It talks about how it will not disappear through workouts and humidity. I have tested this out in humidity. This is the foundation that I've been wearing, and we've been going through a heat wave in California. This has withstood the humidity and the sweating that heat wave has brought. So that is absolutely correct. On here, now about the gym, I can't speak to that because I tend to remove my makeup before going to the gym. I thought about not doing it, but honestly, it sounds really gross. I don't want to risk having foundation running down my face at the gym, because I do get very sweaty at the gym. But maybe I'll try it and update you guys back on like a weekly or monthly favorites, because it is kind of interesting that is something that they put on here. Somebody had to have tested it out. I normally just don't wear my makeup when I'm at the gym, so I'll have to update you on that. But otherwise, I think this is a really excellent foundation, and I love to know if you have tried it, what your experience has been with it, especially if you have a different skin type than I do, because the way this foundation applies and the texture of it, which is very watery, leads me to believe that it would be really good on even dry skin. And normal skin people just can use anything. So if you have used it, I'd love to know, or if you're planning on getting it, I would also love to know about that. So for now, I think this is gonna be my go-to foundation for some time. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.